What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy Uncle Rizza, and I'll be your host for the evening. Welcome to another episode of Tune That Shit. What I really wanted to do here was make a nice tuned version of the FRS that kept the spirit, but still performed nice, meaning it could get sideways whenever it wanted to. It could actually hold a drift, and it could do a bit of grip racing. So I mean, you know, if you've been paying attention to FRS in the car world, you know, this thing is known to be a very spirited car to drive. So I didn't want to get away from that. I didn't want to make the handling super high and, you know, it feels like a Lotus. I didn't want that at all. So let's see where we at. I mean, the first real thing I did was the tires. Gave it some nice fat tires. Made sure it sat nice. And again, it comes a little underpowered out the gate. But even that, you got to take with a bit of salt because this thing's super light. So there's no reason to dump 400 horsepower in this thing. You probably won't even keep it on a track. But I'm rolling with some tires. I did some work to the suspension, like I always do. You know, even though it's an A-class car, I pretty much max out the suspension and the brakes, and I just like to be able to tune with some comfortability and be able to control the car. You know, my biggest thing to really keep that fun factor intact was I gave it a supercharger. I felt like the supercharger would give it that instant response a lot better than say the turbo or the twin turbo. So I went with supercharger, and it pays off, right? Because you come around corners, and if you play with the gas pedal, you feather it, it'll respond pretty nice. But when you get aggressive on the gas, oh, there it is, the ass is out. So I feel like the supercharger really did a good job for what I wanted it to do. I like the way it came out, man. I really like the way it feels very nimble. A little rough around the edges. Let me tell you, it's not as smooth as something like a Lotus or even like a really nicely tuned Supra. I can't figure that out. But damn, this thing feels good. I checked a few of my times, and I actually broke one or two of my best times with it, and I wasn't really trying. So I'm very happy with the way the tune came out. What I'll do is I'll label the tune and upload it to the storefront so you guys can really, you know, get in there and test it out. Hit me with some feedback. Let me know if you're feeling it, how you like it, so on and so forth. So let's hit the track, man. I dialed this in on the Laguna Seca, and I chose Laguna Seca because they've got some really technical turns on elevations, both up and down. So that would have really gave me a nice indicator as to how the tune was. Did it really have the ability to break traction and still remain in control? It was nice on Laguna. No complaints. So you guys know how I do it. I hit the ring. The computer cars are on professional, as you can tell. Look at the shit they're driving. Look at what I'm driving. It is a bit challenging sometimes. I tune all of my cars in the A-class. These guys are obviously racing in different classes, so you know, it gives the computer a nice edge. After a while, you still blow past them anyway. I don't know what they gotta put them in Indy cars, but oddly enough, I'm struggling a lot less in the earlier part of the race with the SRS than I do with some of my other tunes. So that right off the bat, on top of the fact that I broke some of my best times in this car, lets me know that this car is serious. I'm really happy about the way this thing came out. Because it teeters that line between grip and drift so well. You have to know how you're going to approach a corner. So it's either you go balls to the wall and just power slide it all the way through, or you just get off the gas and let it grip through. I damn near appreciate that every time, because it keeps it fun, you know, throughout the duration of the race. So I'm not complaining there. I had an earlier tune for the SRS, and this is actually where I stumbled on this concept for this guy, because I wanted to, with that one, I tried to make it a track car, make it as grip as possible, but I just could not get rid of that oversteer. And it wasn't a terrible oversteer, I just felt like I wanted it to sit down and not move at all. It's almost like you couldn't kill the character of the car. So with this tune, my goal was to not try to compensate for it, but to really embrace it. And it came out very well. As you can see here, it's my fault, I apologize. I should have had the telemeter up so you guys can see the suspension and the grip, but you know, if you just listen to it, this thing hardly breaks traction unless I wanted to. And coming up here, let's watch this. I overshot it a little bit, but man, it was easy, and it's easy to maintain it too. And if I really was in the state of mind of drifting, it would have been so much more pretty. I was just pretty much power sliding and controlling it, less than drifting, you know. But look at the way this thing grips, man. Man. So my decision to go with the supercharger over the turbo actually paid off. I mean, look at the way the power just pours on the minute I touch the accelerator. That also adds to the fun of the car. It really is a lot more fun to drive because of that. Now, and I pointed this out in some of the earlier videos, I want you guys to pay attention to take a look at the tachometer. You'll see it'll let you know where your red line is, but depending on the type of work you do to the car, you can actually go a little, you know, a few reps higher. Now, the way to tune this, and I didn't show it because I wanted to keep the video short, the way to tune this is to really put on that telemeter and pay attention to when your power curve kicks in and when it drops off. That's why you see me shifting a lot earlier, because I actually paid attention to my shift points. And racing these cars that I'm racing, you know, there's a SLS on the track and an LFA and some Lambos. I'm at a disadvantage, so I've got to really find a way to keep my car in the power curve as much as possible. What I did notice with the FRS is the torque dropped off really quick, which is okay, you know. Like coming up that hill right there, you'd notice it almost stayed at a steady speed. It wasn't gaining, and that's really the disadvantage with a less torquey engine. That's how some of the Hondas react on that hill, which is fine. It's not a problem, you know. The car's still fast, but I'm just a torque lover, so. Coming through this section right here, I really could feel the stability in the tune. I was real happy with that. It didn't quite bottom out. There were no sparks. It just came through there nice and fluid. And that's one of the toughest spots in the ring, you know. And that's what makes the ring such a great course to run your car. There's certain points of the track that are just drastically different. And depending on your tune, it can make or break you for the rest of the race. Coming through these sections here, which is pretty much the coasting section, you coast in third and fourth. I get a little aggressive depending on the tune of the car. I was not as aggressive as I usually am. You know, I had to, because I didn't I'm not a drift guy. You know, I do enjoy it sometimes, but I enjoy more spirited power sliding and drifting. And I do this section here. If you like to drift, this is where you would want to do it. So for me, you know, that was my indicator. Just back off and sort of coast and let the car do its thing and not push it too hard. And judging from how far back the other guy is, he never really gained. So it worked out pretty good. It was all about, and it always is about how you really attack the track and get your strategy together, where you're gonna go hard, where's your strong points, where you know your weaknesses are, and how you're gonna make up for that, and so on and so forth. So coming down to this jump, the car did a good job. It was real stable. Coming down through here, it was actually on 2 wheels for a little bit. Right here, look at this. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? Almost flipped it, but yeah, that was interesting. You can tell I'm a lot less aggressive because I'm still shaking up from what just happened. Yeah, but this car is a beast, man. I really like it. Like I said, I'm gonna put the tune up there. I think some of you guys will enjoy this tune as well. And you know, FRS is really been one of the more trending platforms for tuners these days. I find it's the FRS and the 1 series, or the M1 or 1M, whichever one it is. But I'm happy with this, man. This car is crazy well balanced. It's really quick and it's still fun. I'm gonna send it over to Shifter so he can hit it up with some of the ignorant gamer boys and get it in some competition and see how it does. And yeah, but for right now, I'm satisfied with this tune. So yeah, like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit me with some feedback. Let me know if you got your own tune out there. And hey, don't just take it as a Forza video. I mean, if you've been tuning this thing on Gran Turismo, Need for Speed, whatever it is, holla at me. Let me know how you like this. As always, fellas, hit subscribe. Enjoy the replay. It's your boy Uncle RZA. I'm out of here.